All right, let's talk. Now, Chomper is prime, scary ass shit. Even when I saw his ass coming down the block, I was straighten up. Looking good, kid.
Ooh, that is so unladylike.
I hear you're playing good, Sim. You know, I kind of missed the times when it was hedge fund managers and D-grade celebrities we had to scrape off the floor of the VIP lounge. Now with these gas prices, the freaking oil tycoons are back in style. And I mean, there's assholes and there's assholes, you know? And oil and gas people are definitely assholes.
Yeah, I would say so. Well, this is sketch.
Later.
Hi, how are you? I'm great. Thanks for asking. How was your day? Oh, my day is great. Thanks for asking. How is yours? Where are you from? Give me the details. I want to know. I'm playing video games. You look so beautiful. My day is bad. No, why is your day bad? I'm from Egypt. Oh, wow. I hear Egypt is beautiful. Oh, wow. Egypt. People always say I need to go to Egypt. And Greece. My sister wanted to wear a short top, and I said to her, it's not good. Who was correct? And she is 20. Well, I think she's needs to be able to wear what she wants to wear. Although I know it's different over there, so I don't know. It's not normal to wear something in Egypt. Yeah, I figured that. So, yeah, y'all like real modest dressing. You know, y'all wear a lot of tunics, right? Is that what they're called? Where are you from? I'm from the USA. I'm an American. I mean, I'm what am I wearing? I mean, would that be okay? Although I'm not Egyptian, so I'm an American. So I know I'm an American. I know.
'Got a bit of a problem. Some asshole got wind of what we were up to. Apparently killing a guy's closest associate puts a bit of a
How old
spotlight
are
on
you?
him.
Let me guess. Okay,
Anyway,
and you say higher or lower? I love this game.
so we gotta move. Now, is that clear? Can we get
Okay,
going? Alright. And remember, the professor's paying you, not me. Not me at all. So keep
you
him
get
alive.
three guesses though.
Based on this inmate transfer thing,
23.
Bolingbroke are expecting a new arrival.
Oh,
One
thank
of you is going to
you.
intercept the transport and
Higher.
make sure it doesn't get there. Two of you are going to be taking our prison bus and making your way into the facility in its place. You'll be playing inmate and guard. Stay in character as long as it's useful.
27.
Then make your way to the rooftops.
Higher.
I'll get on the radio and give you a path to the prop.
Oh my God, you look so young. 30. No, I'm not 30, but thank you. It's close. It's close. But thank you. I appreciate it. Now, how old are you? Since you know how old I am. I am 16. Oh, wow. So are you like in a... Wait, I'm confused. I am younger than you. Yeah, so how is it okay for you to be online if you're that young? Don't you have to be an adult to be on like online over there? Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know.
Once the bus is secure, Demolitions is driving it to Sandy Shores. The pilot's going to LSIA. Here we go. Okay,
I want to communicate with you. Wait, I want to communicate with people. Don't know who I am.
collect our bus from the
Why
junction
is
at
that?
Sandy Shores. Demolitions, you're the perimeter team. You'll be hijacking the inbound Bolingbroke transport. The pilot's going to LSIA. And me, I'm gonna put up some smoke in a nice crowded public place.
Oh,
Given
I know where I'm
everyone
going
AP
now.
pissed on
Okay,
us,
I got
special
lost for a
comrades,
second.
there's no fighting over who's the favorite. Demolitions has got a jerry can and some sticky bombs too. Let's get to work.
Because if someone know who I am, I will hate me. Wait, who I am, you will hate me. Wait, why would they hate you? I'm confused. Like that my mom died. What? I'm confused. And my stepmother is doing bad things with men. Oh, no. Not being an adulteress. And my sister don't. Good person. And my dad, no. Oh, wow. Things are just all going
Once the
down
bus is
for
secure,
y'all. Oh,
Demolitions is
no.
driving it to Sandy Shores. The pilot's
That's
going to
wild.
LSIA.
Oh, wow. That's where I'm going. Okay. I hope you don't hate me. No, I don't hate anybody. But I'm gaming right now, so that's what I'm doing. How old are you? I'm 35. You did not say. Well, you didn't guess. That's why I didn't say. That's crazy. I'm like a whole 2 decades older than you. That's crazy. Oh my God, this aged like my mom when she died. And you have boyfriend or girlfriend? I have a boyfriend. I don't like girls. That's not my cup of tea.
With the geolocator, so it needs to be going in vaguely in the right direction. Go bypass the prison and take it out to Sandy Shores
You have
Airfield.
boyfriend or
Destroy it and
girlfriend?
wait for the jet. Do not attract police attention or the entire operation will be
I like
burned.
girls. Okay. I mean, no judgment, you know. Everyone likes who they like. I don't judge. But I don't have friends. Oh no. Why don't you have friends? My sister had her boyfriend. Ooh, do you not like him? Ooh, I have ice cream. I forgot I have ice cream. Ooh, I have ice cream. I don't like him. Oh, why don't you like him? I mean, most brothers don't like their sister's boyfriends. So he steal my sister from me. No, he didn't. It's not what he's doing. Your sister is supposed to find somebody to be with.
Come up on the airfield, take the bus around the back of the building and torch it.
I love my sister, and I talk to she every day. But now she don't with us, with
No
him.
problem. Air traffic's red flagged the plane and they're scrambling jets.
Oh,
Pilot, if they try to shoot you down, run evasive maneuvers. Stay strong up there. You need to hold off those jets until the ground team get Reshkovsky out of the facility.
hmm. And I hate my stepmother and I alone. Oh, you don't like your dad's new wife? Why not? What did she do? What's up with her? She do bad things. Ooh, what kind of bad things? Not doing bad things. Like with men. I can't explain more, sorry. Oh, okay. Well, it happens. Life is boring. I hope I die or anything. Sorry if I annoy you. No, you're fine. Like I said, I'm gaming. Doing some gaming. I am very sorry. No, it's cool. It's fine. Thank you for talking to me. Oh, you're welcome. I will go to cry and pray to my mom. Bye. Oh, you don't have to leave, but I understand. Prayer is important.
Pilot, they have the asset. Coordinate with the ground team, choose a place to land, and pull them out of there. The jets have gone offline, and hey, looks like the ground team have actioned the evac. Pilot, coordinate the pickup. Demolitions, do what you can do. We're almost there, people. The local PD are all over this. Communicate. Choose somewhere with enough space.
Can I ask you a question before I go? See you soon. Yeah, sure. What's that?
Pilot, ground team, you need to coordinate and get
How
Rashkovsky
old are you
airborne
when
ASAP.
you get your first kiss? I think I was 17. Yeah, I think 17.
Okay, get the plane out of there. Demolitions, keep with them. When the rest of the crew bails, you'll be picking them up. You need to evade the authorities before you bail out of there. Run evasive maneuvers, get clear, then head toward the drop zone. This all goes to plan. You rendezvous on the beach in the Palomino Highlands. And remember, Reshkovsky's paying you to get him out. I'm just a friendly stranger you know very little about.
Goodbye. Have a good day with your boyfriend. I hope you're being married. Hopefully one day I'll be married.
I should say, I've been impressed by your professionalism. Now, I'm not gonna go into it, but Rashkovsky's part of something bigger. Way bigger. I need to make a few more inquiries, and we'll be ready to go on a job that requires your particular skill set. Don't retire on me just yet. Job successful. Pick him up and get him home.
he looked. You know, what a crazy moment it was. His lawyers have done a good job. He's pretty unfazed, Mr. Diddy.
Oh well,
Because
gold
they
is
are
fine.
saying this was domestic abuse. This was ugly. This was unconscionable. This was unforgivable, but it wasn't what he's being charged with here. This isn't what he's on trial for. And, maybe it will just be a bump, but it's a pretty dang memorable bump. You can just see that he's got a real, mean streak.
We did it, Joe. We did it.
The blonde woman who we saw through one of your drawings, that was the prosecutor who did the opening statement where she laid out their theory of the case. Then you had the longer brunette who was the person doing the defense opening statement. And I was really trained myself looking at Diddy and his children who were in the courtroom to see how they would react to that video being played. I noticed he was looking right ahead, and his kids tried to look over at the video, but it was a very difficult moment for everyone in the room to center on. And in fact, Christine, he greeted his family as he entered the courtroom. His mother was there. At least 6 of his kids were in the courtroom. How was he interacting with them from your vantage point?
At the very end of the day, the judge took a small break while, the sex worker, Phillips, was still on the stand, but they were switching over the cross. And Diddy's mom was leaning over the rail, just trying so hard to have a conversation with him. He kept signaling to her that he loved her, but he couldn't have a conversation with her. But she was really worked up over watching that.
That was really what I was looking at, to see the reaction. It's a very difficult video, even for people who are strangers to the defendant, let alone his family members. How did Diddy and his lawyers react when the jury was selected? I mean, I saw him take a deep breath for a second and look over at the people who would decide his fate. But you were in such a good position. What was he like at that moment?
What was Diddy like?
Yes.
And you couldn't read a dang thing off of that man's face. He's just very,
he did have the stoicism.
Yeah, and he's put on quite the collegiate look, a little bit professorial. None of that razzle-dazzle. It made me wonder why it was he couldn't even try a little harder to have a mother conversation, because I felt it was almost like he loved her, but he needed to keep a little distance from her angst over it.
Well, that was out of the earshot inside of the jurors, so they did not witness that interaction, and yet there is something about the real gravitas here. I mean, he was in a federal court in his own hometown of New York City, and his mother trying to get his attention, and the weight of these charges was obvious. Christine Cornell, thank you so much.
Thank you, ma'am.
My panel is back with me, and Joey, I got to ask about this enterprise, because for many people, a racketeering and RICO case is all about, they think about the mob. You got to prove that there was a group of people who were conspiring together for a common goal. They're saying it's the inner circle and the chiefs of staff.
Defense hat. Look, the reality is that this is a music mogul and icon. He had an organization for purposes of developing what was a brand. That brand was extraordinarily successful. So you mean to tell me that he created this organization as a cover so that he could gratify his sexual desires? Defense point, ridiculous. The reality is that this is his sex life on trial. Everyone may have their own proclivities. Everyone may think something is good, bad, or different. Doesn't make it criminal. So at the end of the day, you do look at a criminal enterprise as mobsters, etc. Is this that?
But how do they go from the idea of running my business to that?
Well, Joey and I come from the same direction. Both former prosecutors. So I'm going to wear the prosecutor hat now. So I'll steal that one back. That's right. That's right. So anyway, there's a structure here. There's a criminal purpose. It's not just
good.
some legitimate
Yes,
business.
you're doing good. Just
the argument
3
is that
more little
the structure
tasks
here
to perform. We should be good to go.
structure
First,
down into
we're
the
going to
level of
need
different people.
some hacking
That criminal
equipment, the
objective
kind that
goal,
nobody
all
makes
collectively
and
didn't
sets that
share
are
that
in
goal. What was
existence are
that
all
goal?
traced.
That goal
So
was
we'll need to
provide
rob
them,
it
among
from
other
someone
things,
who won't mention that it's
drugs
gone missing.
that
Bank
place in
robbers.
a position to bring them
These
across
guys.
state lines,
Now
to
they've
engage in
set
sex
up a where.
against their will, to force them, Now, is that going to sell? To your point with your hat back on, that's not an easy lift. But the reason why the prosecution is doing this in part is whatever evidence you may not otherwise have been able to bring in. You're bringing this whole umbrella, you're swooping it all into the case. And now you have that, and to a certain extent you could say, even if you don't believe that this is a criminal enterprise, it was still an organization. He did, he still brought people.
But hold on, wait, it's an umbrella or a kitchen sink. That's the risk, though, right? You have the jurors thinking, you're just throwing everything in here. Stacey?
Yeah, it's a big stretch. He clearly didn't invent this big music empire and clothing empire so he could run around Hollywood like Joey was saying and allegedly assault women. What this really is a sexual abuse trial disguised as a racketeering trial because the federal government is really not able to bring sex abuse charges. There's no federal statute for that. The only statute that's really federal here is transporting individuals over interstate commerce, interstate lines to engage in prostitution. But the sex trafficking may not be federal, so they've taken things that are prosecuted on a state level. All these underlying acts that we're going to hear about, we started hearing about, the alleged sex abuse. We're going to hear about arson. We're going to hear about bribery, coercion, kidnapping, all these things. He's not charged with any of those things. And this is a very creative and I would say a little bit bizarre prosecution coming from the Southern District of New York to go to this extent to prosecute Sean Williams. There are other ways to do it, and one would be one say, and I know you would disagree with me, but not one of the civil alleged victims who filed lawsuits against him. Now there are over 65 people who filed some type of monetary damages case against Sean Holmes for something he has done to them. Not one person has launched a case and pressed charges against.
So Elizabeth, Cassie Ventura is going to be testified. She is probably the creme de la creme in terms of we're talking about civil lawsuits there.
She is. And as I said before, this trial, this case would not exist without Cassie Ventura. Now, I do want to make the point, and everybody knows here, some of our viewers may not know, this case is completely separate from the 60-plus civil claims that Sean Holmes is facing. Now, of course, the jury is instructed every single morning, do not read about this, do not watch the news, I'm not supposed to be watching us right now, but I think students knows that it's Sean Holmes.
Stop.
Yes, Sean.
Stop. No way. I guess I price
Was this sorry? Were there instances where it was transformed and he had this freaky lifestyle and freaky relationship? Great, maybe he did. Is that, and does that make him a racketeer? Does that make him a person who organized this for the sole purpose 20-something years ago so that he could do just what we're talking about now? Does not make sense. And does the tape, let's come back to it, right? Let them play the prosecution every day and every night. Does that demonstrate that he A, engaged in trafficking, B, that he engaged in sex trafficking, and C, that he engaged in prostitution?
Well, listen, watching the jurors stay in the courtroom, I was watching to see how they reacted to these videos. Were they leaning in, leaning out, and shaking their heads? I gotta tell you, some were visibly
responding to what they saw. Even though the widely air questions, fancy way of saying the question I asked you at the jury, they'd already been hesitant. But they were still a little taken back. They saw it multiple times and beyond. But there was a moment, Elizabeth, in the courtroom today when you were looking to see if the family, I took it, would actually be in the video as well. And they were watching it. They had a reaction as well to seeing Lynn, because again, they know at least one of the victims, and there's one more under scrutiny, and we're going to hear more about it.
That's right. And there was one point where Sean Holmes, his mother, Janet, she was actually, her face was so she wasn't watching it. You have to assume that she has seen this tape and playing over and over on social media, on the news. But that, again, the family said I thought it'd be hard. But aside from the family, there's something interesting about the tape that I've been thinking about, Laura. Because you remember last week during jury selection, Holmes' lead defense attorney, Martin Willow, he said this is, the video is the most important piece of evidence in this entire trial. We know this team had numerous intent to reject that evidence. But now, of course, the tables have turned, the story has changed a bit. Now it's, oh no, this doesn't show anything. This just shows jealousy. In fact, Tiffany Garrett said during her opening statement, jealousy was on full display during this night. So of course they have to have a defense for that. They said from day one when Martin wrote that tape, they said this was domestic violence, this was essentially a rape that gone wrong.
And notice that as we look for this whole trial, they're going to focus on the phone listening in that hallway of the hotel more than the violence that ensued. Stay tuned on why. Thank you so much, everyone. Look, it wasn't that long ago that Diddy was at the pinnacle of hip-hop. Now he's a criminal defendant in federal court of all places. What does this downfall mean for the music industry and the legacy that he had? And what does it say that so few people are coming to his defense publicly? Ray, conversation.
My Happy Place, Sunday at 10 on CNN.
Friday nights, you bring your A game. Flirty walks, you bring your A game. Bring your A game when taking care of your sexual wellness and include Apertude, a prescription medicine used to reduce the risk of HIV. Apertude helps give you continuous protection when taken every other month, and it's proven superior to once daily PrEP in reducing the risk of HIV.
You must be HIV negative to receive Apertude and get tested before each injection. If you think you are exposed to HIV or have flu-like symptoms, tell your doctor right away. More HIV testing may be needed. Apertude does not prevent other sexually transmitted infections. Practice safer sex to reduce your risk. Get Apertude as scheduled. Missing doses increases your HIV risk. Don't take Apertude if allergic to it or taking certain medicines that may interact. Tell your doctor about your medical conditions, liver problems, and mental health. Serious side effects include allergic reactions or rash, liver problems, and depression. If these occur, get medical help right away. The most common side effect is injection site reaction.
You bring your A game to everything you do. Ask your doctor about Apertude.
What if all I need for my type 2 diabetes isn't enough? Or what if
Once weekly Mounjaro could help. Mounjaro helps your body regulate blood sugar and can help you eat less food. But 3 out of 4 people reached an A1C of less than 7%. And people lost up to 25 pounds. Don't take Mounjaro if you're allergic to it, or if you or someone in your family had medullary thyroid cancer or multiple endocrine neoplasia syndrome type 2. Stop and call your doctor right away if you have an allergic reaction, a lump or swelling in your neck, severe stomach pain, or vision changes. Serious side effects may include inflamed pancreas and gallbladder problems. Taking Mounjaro with sulfonylurea or insulin may cause low blood sugar. Tell your doctor if you're nursing, pregnant, plan to be, or taking birth control pills, and before scheduled procedures with anesthesia. Side effects include nausea, diarrhea, and vomiting, which can cause dehydration and may worsen kidney problems.
I can do diabetes different? With Mounjaro.
Pay as little as $25 per month. Ask your doctor about Mounjaro.
It's a comedy. I'm also into flambéing. What I'm not into is heartburn. That's why I take Voquezna. Here in Keenan's stomach, Voquezna can get some acid and relieve heartburn related to non-erosive GERD. Voquezna is the first and only FDA-approved treatment of its kind. And it heals erosive esophagitis known as erosive GERD. Ooh la la. 93% of adults with illicit GERD were healed by 2 months. Of those healed, 79% stayed healed. Plus, Voquezna can provide heartburn-free days and nights. Other serious stomach conditions may exist. Don't take an allergic to Voquezna or while on rilpivirine. Serious allergic reactions include trouble breathing, rash, itching, and swelling of face, lips, tongue, or throat. Serious side effects may include kidney problems, intestinal infection, fractures, life-threatening skin reactions, low B12 or magnesium levels, and stomach growths. Tell your doctor about your medical conditions, medications, and if you have diarrhea, persistent stomach pain or fever, decreased or bloody urine, seizures, dizziness, irregular heartbeat, jitteriness, chills, shortness of breath, muscle aches or weakness, spasms of hands, feet, or voice. Voquezna can help kick some ass in, and so can you. Ask your doctor about Voquezna.
Sail through the heart of historic cities and unforgettable scenery with Viking. Unpack once and get closer to iconic landmarks, local life, and cultural treasures. Because when you experience Europe on a Viking longship, you'll spend less time getting there and more time being there. Viking, exploring the world in comfort.
Hello, passengers. This is your pilot speaking. Thank you so much for asking. It's very important to get a local guide. Is it Javier Bardem?
Yeah, I was forced to be here.
How do I look in person? Hello, Alex.
The prosecution gave a strong opening statement today, and the defense tried to rebut. Yes, Diddy was an icon. Yes, he was wealthy and famous, and today the defense is arguing that's exactly why victims chose to get close to him in the first place, to stay in his orbit and climb the proverbial ladder. Defense attorney Tenny Garrigo saying, if you had any interest in climbing the social ladder at the time and being involved in the music industry, the apparel industry, spirits industry, attending his legendary parties, you wanted to be around Sean Combs. Try to remember why people stayed around him and why it matters. Well, that was then. Now the man who at one point was one of the most influential names in music is facing life in prison. Lizzie Wagmeister is here with us again, along with Touré, host of Rap Latte on YouTube. Touré, I mean, this was quite a moment in court today to hear the prosecution go after him and to lay the foundation for the case they want to make against him. He was one of the most influential names in hip-hop and the entire music industry. What do you make of this moment?
I like that it's a very difficult moment for him. I mean, look, I'm not a lawyer. I listened to the lawyers before. I think that the prosecution has a fantastic case here. SDNY is going to win, 95, 98% of the cases anyway, but they're saying it's racketeering. What does that mean? He was committing crimes, right? The sexual crimes that we talked about with Cassie and others. And these people, Christina Karam and his chief of security and others, were helping him do those things. They would set up the hotel. If there was blood or a body or something to clean up afterwards, they're cleaning that up. They're facilitating the crimes that he's doing. And they work for him. They do it because he told them to do it as a course of their employment. Cassie's going to be a very important witness, but when Christina Karam, his chief of staff, testifies that I did X, Y, and Z, which are illegal, because he told me to, that's the racketeering case.
What does that tell you, if true, about the industry itself? That there were so many people to facilitate and to use and manipulate and exploit the alleged victims because they wanted desperately to be a part of it.
Well, sure, this is something that Puff or Harvey Weinstein or others can manipulate, that you have young people who have basically one talent in life. I can sing, I can rap, I can dance, I can produce. Please help me. I want to do this for my life. I talked a lot to Little Rod. All he can do is produce. He's got 6 kids, and he promised his mother, I will retire you. So there's nothing else that he can do in life. So when Puff is saying, you can produce for me, he's like, this is amazing. You also have to endure me touching you on the butt sometimes. Okay, fine. You also have to take a drink when I say, and I'm telling you to take shots all the time. Like, okay, like, you also have to endure, like, you took a shot, you woke up, you didn't know where you were, and your butt hurts. And you have a sense of, like, what you don't know, but you know what happened. And you got to put up with that. And if you can't put up with what they hate, gatekeepers like Puff or other people want you to do, the hurdles they want you, then you can't be in the industry. So you're kind of stuck with that.
I want to be really clear as you lay out some of the statements. Christina Cromwell has not been charged with any crime, and she has publicly denied any involvement in criminal activity. And I'll leave it at that because we don't
know that she's going to have to testify. They're not charging her because they're going to immunize her. So
I'll be curious to see if that is indeed the case, because I've been waiting with bated breath to figure out all the witness testimony. But you make a really important point about the circle of in the sphere of influence here, and I wonder. Do you see this case as analogous to, say, the R. Kelly trials, the Harvey Weinsteins, or is this in and of itself a separate case?
I think it's analogous to Weinstein, perhaps not to R. Kelly, in that they're both about the casting couch. And people who want to be in the industry presenting themselves to a gatekeeper and say, can I have some shine? And sure, you can, if you do this thing that I want you to do. I mean, Cassie stayed with him for 10 years because she thought she was making an album. This was the prime of her life. She had one of the great record managers of her time leading her. We're going to make an album. Well, no, you're not. That's just a pacifier so that we can have you ready for the freak-offs whenever I want. That's what you're really here for. We don't know that. Why would she leave? I will put up with this crap so that I can get to do the thing that I dream of.
Well, that's exactly what the prosecution is suggesting, and the defense countering that in a different way in terms of that she was gaining something beneficial. We'll see how the jury plays that out. But the music industry, they are leaning in because the scope of influence here is that wide. Look, I'm glad that you brought up Harvey Weinstein. I covered both of those trials in LA and in New York. And the common theme here is the power differential, right? So what the prosecutors have said is that Diddy wielded all the power. And as you just said, he signed Kathy Ventura to his label, Bad Boy, when she was just 19 years old. She had a hit song at the time, and then nothing ever again. So he is sitting there saying, when am I going to get a hit? When am I going to get a hit?
And she's working all the time.
And he's paying for her entire life. So she's thinking, if I go, what happens to my life, to my career? We're going to hear about it tomorrow. She'll be in court tomorrow, expectedly. Touré, Elizabeth, thank you both so much. Listen to much more of my conversation with Touré and Elizabeth's reporting on our brand new CNN podcast, Trial by Jury. First episode is out now, wherever you get your podcasts. Hey, thank you all for watching. Anderson Cooper 360 is next.
Liberty. Liberty Mutual is all she talks about since we save hundreds by bundling our home and auto insurance.
Hey, kid. It's pronounced Liberty.
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 Liberty. Liberty. No, she's mocking me. Very mature.
Hey, that's an F you too.
Hey, I'm not the one acting like a total baby.
She's two.
Only pay for what you need.
Liberty.
All right, so that's one pair of glasses.
Yep.
With prescription lenses.
Mm-hmm.
Plus anti-reflective lens coating.
Oh.
Scratch-resistant coating.
Did I choose?
UV protection. Award-winning customer service.
That's me.
That's also me. Free returns, free exchanges, and free frame adjustments for life.
And how much more is that?
Oh, it's all included at Warby Parker.
So my glasses
are still just $95.
Oh.
Surprise! I just get excited.
Looks like allergy season is back. Time to start saving on your prescriptions. Another good reason to check GoodRx.
Clogged gutters can cause big problems fast. Until now, call 833-LEAF-FILTER today for your free gutter inspection.
I've had terrible flooding problems on my porch. Now I understand why.
Right now, LEAF-FILTER is offering a free inspection on your schedule. LEAF-FILTER is a permanent gutter solution, so you never have to worry about costly damage from clogged gutters again.
Call us today and schedule your free inspection.
Schedule your free inspection. Call 833-LEAF-FILTER today or visit leaffilter.com.
When you list on apartments.com, renters will start coming out of the woodwork. Right? That's right.
Single family home? Yes, please. Is it a dishwasher?
Ooh, look at these high ceilings.
Wow.
Spacious. But I got one question.
Are utilities included?
Apartments.com.
A place to list a place.
This is what joint pain looks like when you keep moving with Aleve. Just one Aleve. 12 hours of uninterrupted joint pain relief. Aleve. Strength to last 12 hours.
It's Pod's biggest sale in history. Save up to 30% on moving and storage until May 19th. And see why Pods is America's #1 container moving company. Whether you're relocating or renovating, save up to 30% at pods.com today.
The Phoenician Scheme. Help yourself to an angry. From director Wes Anderson, Zsa Zsa Gabor, a controversial figure and the world's most fascinating man. Break. Don't bend. The Phoenician Scheme. Rated PG-13. At select theaters in New York and Los Angeles, May 30th. Rated everywhere. June 6th.
With Plan B, we control our future. Plan B is backup birth control that helps prevent pregnancy before it starts. Get it in store or order for same-day delivery or pickup. Together, we've got this.
I use PayPal to buy this ticket. I'm paying it off over time. No fees, no interest.
No one else has no interest? Me.
You can pay your own way.
Excuse me, sir. The captain needs you back.
Oh, yeah, sure. With Plan B, we control our future. Plan B is backup birth control that helps prevent pregnancy before it starts. Get it in store or order for same-day delivery or pickup. Together, we've got this.
For Spain, Sunday at 9 on CNN. Closed captioning is brought to you by Ucor. Help maintain a healthy urinary tract with Ucor.
I had 8 UTIs in 1 year. This inspired my husband and I to start Euphora. It truly works miracles.
The peace of mind you're looking for.
Write it down at euphora.com.
Good evening, thanks for joining us. There's a lot to get to tonight. The president's new plane and a whole lot of other strange things going on. But before we get to the surreal, I just want to take a few moments and show you something very real. A mom reunited with her son who's been held hostage for 19 months in That is Egon Alexander, 21 years old, the last known living American hostage in Gaza. Together finally with his mom, Yael, his father there, Adi, brother and sister were there as well. Hamas handed him over today in a deal made possible by the Trump administration. It cannot undo the long days and months of tears for this family and so many others, and it can't heal the broken hearts that came before it on both sides of the border. But it is a moment to celebrate and a reminder that's important. Along the story just ahead, we begin though with our Keep Them Honest segment of the growing efficiency of Donald Trump and how it overlaps increasingly with the business of being president. And that overlaps with Biden tonight specifically this converted 747 and its identical twin rendered service during the W. Bush administration. He's aborted tonight en route to Saudi Arabia and the Gulf states, including Qatar. Now, as you may know, Boeing is working on a successor to the Air Force One based on the latest Model 737, but the complexities of turning it into the kind of secure mobile command that the President needs is taking longer than expected, pushing back the delivery first in 2024 to 2028 or 2029. But more recently, Boeing said perhaps 2027. In any case, the President isn't happy with it.
Boeing were not happy with the service we're getting in terms of those planes.
So that was February 12th. A few days later, on the 18th, enter this 747, which happened to be at the West Palm Beach Airport near Mar-a-Lago, in which the President just happened to be taking a tour of, as one does. The White House at the time said it so to get a better idea of what the updated Air Force One might be like. The plane belongs to the Cullen royal family. Last night, the President confirmed the news, first reported by ABC, that the plane would be, in his words, all caps, a gift, free of charge, of the royal family. Now, CNN and others have reported that the Defense Department would then have it modified and commissioned as a temporary Air Force One until Boeing can deliver there. After which, you might be thinking the Pentagon would find some use for that huge enormous new aircraft, but you would be mistaken. But before getting to what happens afterwards to that new plane the President wants to get from Qatar, listen to what the President said when asked about the ethics of it.
What do you think people who view that luxury jet as a personal gift to you? Why not leave it behind? Why not
only ABC? Well, let me tell you. he should be embarrassed asking that question. They're giving us a free jet. I could say, no, don't give us, I want to pay you $1 billion or 400 million or whatever it is. Or I could say, thank you very much.
So easy. Now, before playing you what he said next, it might be a good time to read you a passage from the Constitution, which he's sworn to uphold and protect. No person holding any office of profit or trust under them shall, without the consent of Congress, accept any present, emolument, office, or title of any kind, whatever, from any king, prince, or foreign state. Qatar, by the way, has all three. Their leader.
To be able to achieve. I'll ditch the truck. You hold on to those.
Is it going to get that?
I think the way the visit is being presented is, yes, Saudi Arabia is going to secure and get an understanding with President Trump around AI framework. We have seen the announcement yesterday in Saudi Arabia about the new AI holding company, UMAIN. This timing is not a coincidence. This timing is very strategic. I assume that we're going to hear about deals around AI. We have many CEOs, American tech CEOs in Riyadh right now for the U.S.-Saudi investment forum, so this is a fair assumption. Expected we're going to have these sort of big AI deals. We're going to have agreements around how Saudi Arabia is going to get those sort of ships that are very critical to any sort of AI infrastructure build up in the kingdom.
Yeah, that investment conference, of course, later today, Tuesday, and President Trump will be making a keynote speech at the US-Saudi investment conference. Look, let's be quite clear about this. It is likely we'll see quite a lot of window dressing. I'm being told there'll be news on about 100 deals or partnerships. Some of those, of course, will be MOUs. But, I mean, you're making a very good point here that this trip is not just about Donald Trump coming, as it were, cap in hand for the billions, if not trillions of dollars that he is looking for the U.S. economy and his America First policy. But here and around this region, very specifically in the UAE, this is not sort of a blank check partnership these days. These countries expect a quid pro quo, as it were, certainly on AI and advanced tech, as they build their own economies and power them out of their reliance on hydrocarbons. Attracting sufficient overseas capital has been tough for the Saudis. FDI declining for a third straight year, and the recent fall in oil prices will further cramp these big budgets that are needed to sweeten this economic ambition. How concerned are you about where Saudi is today and where it needs to be by 2030, which of course is the sort of kind of, you know, the dateline on this big Saudi vision that was announced in 2016?
Excellent question, and I'll be frank. I cannot deny that the global economic situation is tough for everyone. But let me speak about Saudi Arabia and the broader Gulf here. We play a very interesting role in the global AI ecosystem / value chain. There are countries that they have the capital, they do have the land, and they have the energy to build an AI stack. So they make them very unique in this sort of AI, the rising role of AI in the global economy. And what the kingdom is trying to capitalize on, the question of energy and AI. Energy and AI are very intertwined. I would even argue that the main bottleneck for AI development and full deployment is not actually ships or data centers. I think it's going to be a functionality of who has more access to energy and able to make compute is a functionality of energy. And this is where Saudi Arabia, UAE, and of course Qatar come ahead of the rest of the world outside of the US and China aligned ecosystems. And I think this is the biggest bet that the kingdom is making a big bet on.
Yeah, no, it's fascinating. Look, I mean, I just want to close this out with a quick discussion about geotech and how that fits into the wider sort of story of international affairs in 2025, where once we talked geopolitics, geoeconomics, and we still do that, geotech is this third sort of key driver these days, isn't it? As the US, China, these Gulf allies look to power their economies into a new generation. Can you just explain, for the purposes of our viewers who may not be as familiar with this sort of term, what we mean when we talk about geotech?
I will do my best. But geotech simply is how states think about the question of technology and state power in the 21st century. If we are saying that AI and emerging technologies are the central pillar of any sort of power projection, it's no longer about territories, it's about information flow, it's about internet cables, it's about compute power. How can we use this to our own leverage to be able to advance our own interest in the geopolitical chessboard that we're seeing right now? So in the case of today, it's the United States and China are the two countries that are leading when it comes to technologies, and the two countries are looking into technology as a way of a statecraft. And one of the aspects of why the Gulf is important is this is a region that's emerging as a global swing region in the AI geotech competition, and the United States and China are trying to offer solutions to the Gulf to align with their own ecosystems. Clearly, the Gulf made a choice that they're on a Team America AI. This is the term that everyone is using in Abu Dhabi and Riyadh and Doha, that we're in Team America AI, and we want to be part of this AI-aligned ecosystem, and we want to make sure that we have the right framework when it comes to investment shifts and making sure that American companies are the main players in our ecosystem, but we're not going to be only investors. We also want to be partners and build our own indigenous capabilities, not just mere investors.
No, I'll take it.
Very well explained. It's good to have you, sir. Thank you very much indeed. And John, that lens, Trump's quest for AI and advanced tech dominance and his America first drive to boost US manufacturing and capacity, of course, driving these partnerships and investments with these key Gulf allies who have enormous sums of sovereign cash to spend, but in turn will extract as much value for their own ambitious and burgeoning economies as possible. This is not any longer a blank check relationship as it was in the past. John?
It is still very transactional, and that's how Trump likes it. And Becky, thank you for being with us. We'll catch up with you next hour. See you there. The US president is defending his decision to accept a super luxury jumbo jet as a gift from Qatar's royal family.
I would never be one to turn down that kind of an offer. I mean, I could be a stupid person and say, no, we don't want a free, very expensive airplane. But I thought it was a great gesture.
The president plans to use the newer Boeing 747 to replace an aging Air Force One. But retrofitting the plane from Qatar, described as a flying palace, into a White House in the sky, could end up costing US taxpayers hundreds of millions of dollars. This gift is also unprecedented in value and has raised ethical and legal questions as well. Idan Alexander, the last known living American hostage in Gaza, has been reunited with his family following his release by Hamas. This was the moment, an end to 19 months apart, 19 months of cruelty. Idan was serving in the Israeli military when he was taken hostage by Hamas during the terror attack on October 7th. And in Tel Aviv's Hostage Square, crowds cheered as they watched his release, which came after the Trump administration sidelined Israel and negotiated directly with Hamas, officially listed as a terror group by the US State Department. Here's more now from the Israeli Prime Minister on how Idan was set free.
This is a very emotional moment. Idan Alexander has returned home. We embrace him and we embrace his family. This was achieved thanks to our military pressure and the diplomatic pressure applied by President Trump. This is a winning combination.
A lot more now from CNN's Jeremy Diamond reporting in Tel Aviv.
So Yael, Alexander isn't just the last living American hostage in Gaza. He's her son. And this reunion is more than 19 months in the making. Alexander, an Israeli soldier captured by Hamas on October 7th, released unconditionally in a gesture that U.S. officials say could unlock a deal to free more hostages and deliver a ceasefire in Gaza. Before that emotional reunion, a phone call to U.S. Special Envoy Steve Witkoff's cell phone assuaging a mother's worst fears. You're out. My soul, you're out, she tells him, grasping at this new reality.
They just released a photo of you. You look unbelievable. Wow. You look beautiful. I love you so much.
That photo of Alexander alongside a Red Cross official and masked Hamas militants gave his family the first confirmation that Idan was alive and well. In Tel Aviv's Hostage Square, hundreds joining in the family's joy, cheering at the first sight of the hostage whose name, Idan, they've all come to know.
His parents are so happy. They're so happy.
President Trump making clear he expects Alexander's release to lead to much more. Writing on social media, this was a step taken in good faith to put an end to this very brutal war and return all living hostages and remains to their loved ones. Hopefully this is the first of those final steps necessary to end this brutal conflict. A week after announcing plans to launch a major new offensive in Gaza next
What's up, boss? Stay safe, boss. The one and only. Got pretty much everything in here. Always gotta have a mag of that. That'll light them up. Hey, let me know if you have any questions.
Okay. So, are you ready? This should be pretty easy. I've kept it simple since you all seem pretty simple. In a good way. In a good way. In a good, straight ahead, low IQ kind of. Oh no! Let's do. Stop it! It's the new meds. Okay, armed robbery. Here we go. Whew. Here it is. Keep it simple. You go in heavy. You go in well armed. Some of you will do crowd control. The vault team will go downstairs, blow the first vault door with the thermal charges. Then use the card to get into the network and open the second vault door. And then look out, because you'll have about 2 minutes before every cop in town
claiming
is waiting for
they're
you
victims
outside
of
the
racial
bank.
discrimination
So you move
and
in,
genocide.
you get on the bikes, you split, and we meet at the rendezvous point, okay? Good luck, people. Nothing can go wrong. It's all good. I'm all good.
Avoiding a global recession. On Monday, Wall Street posted its biggest single-day gains in more than a month. U.S. stocks also erased all their losses since the U.S. president's so-called Liberation Day trade announcement last month. That slapped a 10% tariff on almost all goods entering the U.S. Under this 90-day deal, the U.S. will slash sky-high tariffs on Chinese imports, down from 145% to just 30%. China will knock down its 125% levy on American goods to just 10%. And they say no one wins a trade war, and this détente marks an unexpected shift by the Trump administration, which just days ago seemed to be digging in its heels.
We're not looking to hurt China. China was being hurt very badly. They were closing up factories. They were having a lot of unrest. And they were very happy to be able to do something with us. And the relationship is very, very good. I'll speak to President Xi maybe at the end of the week.
Live now to Hong Kong, CNN's Chrissy Luxart standing by for more of this. Okay, so it's champagne and lollipops, peace in our time, cheering in the streets, there's fireworks and celebration. But what risk factors remain in all of this?
Yeah, after the euphoria comes the really key questions here. Global markets have been rallying after the U.S. and China agreed to dramatically roll back tariffs for an initial period of 90 days, but uncertainty remains. Now, starting from May the 14th, that's Wednesday, for a period of just about 3 months, the U.S., as Johnny just mentioned, will lower tariffs on China from 145% to 30%, China to lower tariffs on the U.S. from 125% to 10%. And we also heard through an interview with Fox News from Jamieson Greer, the U.S. trade representative, who said that China plans to lift export countermeasures, including those export curbs on rare earth ingredients to the United States. And we also learned that U.S. tariff rates on small packages, otherwise known as de minimis, will be decreased. So this is why investors have been cheering the news. Chinese state media has been cheering the news. Interestingly, earlier this morning, the last hour or so, we heard from Chinese President Xi Jinping. He's giving an address. A Latin American trade forum is underway in Beijing, and he talked about mentioning that well-worn phrase, nobody wins in a trade war. Listen to this.
The century-defining transformation is accelerating across the globe, with multiple risks compounding one another. Such developments make unity and cooperation among nations indispensable for safeguarding global peace and stability and for promoting global development and prosperity. There are no winners in tariff wars or trade wars. Bullying, hegemonism, only leads to self-isolation.
Okay, so we have a trade war truce for now, but investors and businesses need reassurance. Tariffs is a sharp 5%. It is still a major drag on trade, and it will continue to lift prices. Also, this is only for a period of 90 days. It's a temporary pause, and there's a number of core U.S.-China trade issues that yet to be entangled. For example, the U.S.-China trade deficit, and also Chinese subsidies on everything from capital to labor. Now, one Hong Kong-based economist pointed this out. His name is Zhuwei Zhang, from Asset Management. He said this, quote, "This is only a 3-month temporary reduction of tariffs. So this is the beginning of a long process." And then we also heard from Jane Coleman, she's the head of FX strategy at Rabobank, and she says this, quote, "The overall scenario is not as bad as it could have been, but we still have a fair amount of uncertainty about where these tariffs will settle, will impact our world growth, and central bank policy," unquote. So look, 90 days is a brief period. It is a welcome break from the U.S.-China trade war, but the clock is ticking. The U.S. and China have 90 days to hash out a final trade deal. Back to you.
Chrissy, as always, thank you so much for being with us today. Chrissy Luxart Live. Please short break. When we come back, dozens of white South Africans welcome to the United States as refugees, with President Donald Trump claiming they're victims of racial discrimination and genocide. Welcome back, everyone. I'm John Forge, watching CNN Newsroom. Let's check today's top story. US President Donald Trump on his way to the Middle East on the first state visit of his second term. He'll land in Saudi Arabia shortly, will then travel to Qatar and United Arab Emirates later this week. Freed Israeli-American hostage Idan Alexander is now back in Israel after his release by Hamas Monday. The development followed days of talks between the militant group and the US, which had bypassed Israel to seal the deal. Israel's Prime Minister praised the US President for securing Alexander's release. The sudden and temporary pause in the US-China trade war has investors breathing a sigh of relief. The two countries agreed to slash tariffs on each other's goods for 90 days, a dramatic de-escalation which has sent global markets soaring with happiness. 59 white South Africans arrived in the US Monday, the first ever to be granted refugee status. The Trump administration expedited their processing, claiming they were the victims of discrimination, while still refusing to accept anyone trying to escape from war and famine from other countries. President Trump is also claiming, again without any evidence, that white South African farmers are facing genocide.
It's a genocide that's taking place that you people don't want to write about, but it's a terrible thing that's taking place, and farmers are being killed. They happen to be white, but whether they're white or black makes no difference to me. But white farmers are being brutally killed, and their land is being confiscated in South Africa.
Very different point of view from South Africa's president, who said that the Afrikaners who left for the United States do not fit the very definition of a refugee.
Those people who have fled are not being persecuted. They are not being, hounded. They are not being treated badly, and they are leaving ostensibly because they don't want to embrace the changes that are taking place in our country in accordance with our constitution.
New laws which allow the South African government to redistribute property and farmland without compensation in some cases has angered many white South Africans, especially farmers. Officials have framed it as a way to correct the wrongs of the past, especially apartheid, which ended more than 30 years ago. Currently, black South Africans make up more than 80% of the country's population, but own just 4% of land. So to come on CNN, the new pope calling for the laws to protect freedom of speech and the press. So the very latest for his first meeting with journalists.
In association with Hyundai.
One day, this application. One day, I will open a place where there is no wall, where there is an empty space, where I will fill this space with creativity and people around me that will bring me into that journey.
Years later, in 2011, she opened the doors to her first restaurant. We
added the children to tell the story and to not be afraid about it. And I knew I was going to get backlash from my industry. What is she doing? And I keep adding the vision and trying every day to keep doing.
In 2018, she reached what some say is the pinnacle of the culinary world, coveted 3 stars.
Nothing compares to in the women's game. I want to help women's football grow. To show women can be involved in all aspects of the game. With Hyundai supporting the Women's World Cup, I hope to see more women playing. And more young girls dreaming big. Because when we raise the bar, we inspire the future.
Brooke brings one here along with 4 boys who make a lot of dirty clothes. Eyes are red, lifting those heavy detergent containers and the big mess they make. Well, check out my latest life hack. Happy Hour laundry sheets. They're lightweight, compact, and mess-free. Just pull one out and drop it in. No more pouring or measuring. All you need is 1 sheet for the entire load. The same as this full cup of detergent. The secret is a powerful cleaning formulation embedded in the fibers. The whole sheet quickly dissolves in water. Watch this. I'll put a sheet in. It works in hot or cold water. See how fast it dissolves? Look at this stain. There's no wasting time with free treaters because Happy Hour is a built-in stain remover that breaks up stains fast. The formula is called
pressure sensitive and it's eco-friendly. So plastic containers like this won't end up in landfills, but it's still a powerful stain fighter. Works in all types of water. This shirt was stained with cherry juice. I'll place one sheet on top and add water. In just seconds, the stain is gone. What people said outside a grocery store. It's so heavy to lug around. I would love like sheets like these. They box and they can fit in my purse. That's crazy. Doing laundry just got a lot easier. Where can I get some of these? It's time to lighten the load so you can start happy hour sooner. Call or go online now to get happy hour laundry sheets. Enough for 120 loads for just $14.99 with free shipping. That's right. Call now or go to our website and get a full month of happy hour for 50% off our regular price. Happy hour shipped right from the USA. And I guarantee happy hour laundry sheets will make laundry days easier or you'll get your money back. Call or go online to get yours today.
Call 1-800-960-9570 or go online to buyhappyhour.com. So call 1-800-960-9570 or go to buyhappyhour.com.
Get your cameras ready. There it is. Wow. Every single species play a very important role in the whole ecosystem.
Why wouldn't we want our children to fall in love with nature?
We don't have much years to make a difference. Don't give up. Let's do it. You can make it. For the people, health and hope.
Dr. Sanjay Gupta reports
It's a really big moment. There's a lot of emotions.
on an innovative medical technique.
I got to tell you, I did not know what to expect. It's powerful just to be here.
With thousands waiting for an organ transplant,
We have to ration organs. There's just not enough.
could animals be the answer?
We just don't have any choice right now. That is an ultrasound of a pig kidney inside Tim.
Go inside the breakthrough procedure. Dr. Sanjay Gupta reports Animal Farm, Sunday on CNN.
I'm Ben Wiedemann in Rome, and this is CNN.
Second day of testimony will begin in New York in the coming hours in the federal criminal trial of rapper Sean Diddy Combs. Prosecutors called two witnesses Monday. One was a police officer responding to a distress call in 2016 after Combs was seen on video assaulting his ex-girlfriend, Cassie Ventura. The other witness claims he was paid to have sex with Ventura. Combs is accused of coercing women into days-long sex parties known as freak-offs, where victims say they were physically abused. Among the charges he's facing is sex trafficking, and if convicted, could be sentenced to life in prison. During his first meeting with the press Monday, Pope Leo XIV called for the release of journalists detained in prisons around the world. The newly elected pontiff pledged the Church's solidarity with them and called on the global community to protect the precious gift of free speech. CNN's Vatican correspondent, Mr. Lamb, was there.
The first American pope meeting with journalists. Thousands in Rome to cover the conclave that elected him.
Thank you for this wonderful reception. They say when they clap at the beginning, it doesn't matter much. If you're still awake at the end and you still want to applaud, thank you very much.
Leo joking in English, but then delivering a serious message, expressing solidarity with journalists who are imprisoned, calling for their release, and emphasizing the importance of a free press.
Penso a coloro che raccontano la guerra. I am thinking of those who report on war even at the cost of their lives, the courage of those who defend dignity, justice, and the right of people to be informed, because only informed individuals can make free choices.
Not all his predecessors have spoken as passionately about freedom of the press, but this has shifted in recent decades. Pope Francis is a strong defender who gave many interviews. After speaking, Leo came down from the platform to greet a group of journalists individually. I was among them. I joked that I was now a White Sox fan, the baseball team Leo supports, and even cheered for in person at Game 1 of their World Series victory in 2005. Another reporter asking if Leo would play a game of tennis doubles. I play, but not well, he replied. I'll bring Agassi, one reporter said. Just don't bring Sinner, the Pope replied, referencing the top men's player in the world, Yannick Sinner. Leo said he wasn't planning to make a trip home to the US soon.
We have a new pope.
But was happy to hear on the radio that since his election, more people were going to the cathedral in Chicago. The Pope also heard saying today, "I'm still learning." I had met Leo once before when he was Cardinal Prevost. He struck me as thoughtful and a good listener. Today it was the same. Leo is the second Pope that I've met. Francis and Leo with the same accessible and pastoral manner and a good sense of humour. But Leo has his own style, methodical, measured, and who takes his time before making interventions. Despite all the attention, Leo's still maintaining a low-key approach. Reluctant, unlike Francis, to take selfies. But whether he likes it or not, Papa Leone is fast becoming a star. Christopher Lamb, CNN, Rome.
I'm John Paul. Thanks for watching World Sports Stars. Stop for a short break. See you back here in 5 minutes.
Excellence on your journey. Extra Sport. Kumo Tire.
I got this mountain bike for only $11.
DealDash.com. Online auction since 2009.
I got these 3 suitcases for less than $40.
I got these Bluetooth headphones for $20 at DealDash.com.
If you're not using DealDash.com, you don't know what you're missing.
DealDash.com. Join thousands of daily auctions. Believe it or not, someone got a brand new Nintendo Switch for only $18 on DealDash.com. Here's how. Every auction starts at $0 with no reserve. Each bid raises the price by just 1 cent and resets a 9-second countdown. To join our auction, you'll need bid credit, which you buy before joining the auction. The winner of the Nintendo Switch bid against 27 other bidders, and with the bid at $11.34, they were the highest bidder when the timer hit 0 and won the auction. The winner had placed a total of 31 bids in the auction, using 31 bid credits. Including the cost of the bid credits and our free shipping, the final price was only $18.
What would you pay for an iPad Pro? I only paid $42 on DealDash.
I got this KitchenAid stand mixer for only $56.
I got this barbecue smoker for $26. If you want to find great deals on great items, go to DealDash.com.
That's DealDash.com. Get started today and join auctions like these. This brand new PlayStation 5 sold for only 50 cents. And this iPhone sold for less than $42 on DealDash.com.
And you get a 90-day money-back guarantee with your first purchase.
I got the San Marino Red Honda Accord Sport on DealDash.com. When shopping on DealDash.com, shipping is always free.
Go to DealDash.com right now and see how much you can save. That's DealDash.com. Join today.
There are auctions going on right now. So what are you waiting for?
A spotlight's powerful beam is designed to be seen from miles and miles away. And now that power can be put in the palm of your hand. This is the brand new Star Patrol Spotlight. Designed with rechargeable LED and laser technology, this light shines a beam that is insanely bright. It can project up to a half-mile away, visible from up high in the sky. Even from atop this skyscraper, it easily lights up buildings from across the skyline. That's over 30,000 candelas of crazy bright light. Pull the trigger again and it converts to a floodlight, turning this entire field from dark of night to super bright daylight. Spot it or flood it. It's your choice.
Wow, look how bright this is.
Wow.
I've never seen anything like this.
Wow, it lights up the whole neighborhood.
It's an advancement in technology combining focused laser beams with LED lights for intense directional light. Oh no, the power's out. Forget weak flashlights. Light up the whole house with one Star Patrol. Noises at night, a regular spotlight can't show much. But the Star Patrol will find that prowler with bright. Even compared to these two headlights, Star Patrol is up to 4 times as bright. And when you're on a camping trip, it's an essential tool you'll want to have with you every time. Even charge your phone with it. Got car problems? Well, the roadside emergency mode will help alert oncoming traffic. The built-in power bank has ultra-fast USB charging, so it's ready again with hours of battery life. A spotlight, floodlight, emergency light, and power bank could cost you hundreds. Get Star Patrol with all those features and more for just $79.99. Plus, a free upgrade to the Pro Patrol version. The Turbo Boost button will increase brightness by up to 100%. If this isn't the brightest spotlight that you've ever owned, just send it back for a full refund. Due to rising costs and limited inventory, this could be your last chance to order at this price. There's a strict limit of 3 per order. Act now.
Call 1-800-950-3619 or visit GetStarPatrol.com. Call 1-800-950-3619 or visit GetStarPatrol.com now.
And it's very stressful. You might want to relax, maybe play some music at home. No, recall. Yamaha recalls AC power adapters for digital pianos and music workstations because they can overheat and ignite, causing burn and fire hazards. Now, each of these companies that makes each of these products, they of course issue their own recall notices. But these specific alerts, see the logo in the upper left corner there? That is the Consumer Product Safety Commission of the United States, CPSC. The Consumer Product Safety Commission is an independent agency of the U.S. federal government, and they perform a very basic, very important function of our government. They make sure the stuff we buy won't kill us. They make sure the stuff we buy is safe for us to use. And when it's not safe for us to use, they let us know, recall. And this is, again, a very basic function of the government, right? And it's just also a nonpartisan concept, right? I think everybody can agree they don't want their beer coolers to cut off their fingers or their electric pianos to burst into flames. Nevertheless, in his infinite wisdom, Donald Trump has just fired most of the leadership at the Consumer Product Safety Commission. There's 5 commissioners, 2 Republicans, 3 Democrats. He just fired all 3 Democrats. And seriously, you're against the agency that recalls beer coolers that cut off people's fingers? Seriously? But beyond that, firing the commissioners like this is also pretty obviously illegal. Federal law is explicit that commissioners of this agency can only be removed from their jobs for neglect of duty or malfeasance, which absolutely does not seem to be the case here. But that's why these product safety commissioners who were just fired inexplicably by Trump, they are now fighting back. We're told that in the immediate aftermath of their firings, at least one of the commissioners and his staff tried to just show up at work anyway. Oh, sure, Trump says I'm fired, but Trump doesn't get to fire me. They showed up at their office, but were not allowed into the building. All 3 commissioners say they're planning to challenge their firings in court, and at least one of them says she just has no intention of abiding by her firing at all. As far as she's concerned, she has not been fired, and she will not behave as if she has been. Her name is Mary Boyle. She's worked at the CPSC for more than a decade before becoming a commissioner a few years ago. Her term is supposed to extend until this October. But because Commissioner Boyle doesn't think the president had the legal authority to fire her, she says she's not going anywhere. She intends to keep doing her job until her term lawfully expires, no matter what he says. She says, quote, "Until my term as commissioner concludes, I will insist on following these time-tested safety principles, and I will use my voice to speak out on behalf of safety." Commissioner Boyle joins us here live next. Stay with us.
I wonder if this golf cart has hands-free driving. It didn't, but my Skechers slip-ins are completely hands-free. I just step in and they're off.
Lumify? It's kind of amazing. Wow. My go-to is Lumify eye drops. Lumify dramatically reduces redness in 1 minute. And look at the difference. My eyes look brighter and whiter for up to 8 hours. Lumify really works. See for yourself. When did I call leaf filter? When I saw my gutters overflowing onto my porch.
Leaf filter is a permanent gutter solution, so you never have to worry about costly damage from clogged gutters again.
It's the easiest call you can make.
Call 833-LEAF-FILTER today or visit leaffilter.com.
I saw woman moving, shooting. I'm worried for my future.
ايوه وطبعا هلا انا بحس الرب كثير بدنا بس نعيش بأمان.
Conflict is raging across the world, and millions of children's lives are being devastated by war, hunger, disease, and poverty. We urgently need your help to reach children in crisis. Please call or go online to give just $10 a month, only 33 cents a day. We need 1,000 new monthly donors this month to help children in crisis around the world and right here at home. You can help us provide food, essentials, and life-saving medical care to children in most need.
حريتنا يعني بدنا نعيش زي كل الأطفال بدنا نعيش بحرية وأمان.
In the darkest times, children suffer the most. You can help by calling right now and giving just $10 a month. All we need are 1,000 monthly donors. Please call or go online now. Your donation today can help secure additional grants, which can multiply the impact of your support up to 10 times. And when you call with your credit card, we will send you the Save the Children tote bag as a thank you for your support.
بعيد عناء الدنيا القصف والنزوح والسلم. أتمنى نعود على بلادنا. قلت لك إنه هذا مستحيل.
Your small monthly donation of just $10 could be the reason a child in crisis survives. Show them they're not alone. Please call or go online to givetosave.org to help save lives.
CIDP is no walk in the park.
That's true.
But I take Vidya my true love.
You'll save. It's the first major innovation in CIDP treatment in over 30 years.
Vidya my true love has been proven to significantly reduce the risk of symptoms getting worse.
My CIDP can be treated with once-weekly injections that take about 30 to 90 seconds.
Do not use Vyvgart Hytrulo if you have a serious allergy to any of its ingredients. Serious allergic reactions like trouble breathing, a decrease in blood pressure leading to fainting, and allergic reactions such as rashes, swelling under the skin, shortness of breath, and hives have been reported. The most common side effects are respiratory and urinary tract infections, headache, and injection site reactions. It may increase the risk of infusion-related diseases and infection. Tell your doctor if you have a history of infections or symptoms of infection.
Go. In the book, like number one. That's how we live it. Vidya my true love.
Live with the doctor and talk to your neurologist.
Okay, so we're going for the charges. Head out to Calafia Bridge and I'll come back with a POA.
Exactly. Windshield chips. Turn into windshield.
So, you're gonna run what's known in the biz as a hijacking because you're hijacking the Merryweather convoy. The bridge is a nice, tidy place to get it done. Not many places they can go. Plenty of options for you. You can station people at vantage points, block the road, and wait for them to roll into the trap. And you can try to take out all the drivers at once. You can concentrate really hard and try to make the truck levitate with your minds. This is San Andreas, after all. Do whatever you think will work. But get the truck, don't let anyone borrow it. You're bringing it in Paige and break seats so she can dig out the criminal charges. Oh yeah, that reminds me. Try not to blow them up. Do not damage that truck at all, okay? I'll be in touch when there's a target about a click out from the bridge.
Writing a status report. Very bullish. One of the issues the president just fired me. So we're going to take the mission. Commissioner Paul, I really appreciate you taking time to be with me. Thank you. Thank you for having me. So I understand the argument that your firing may have been improper or indeed illegal. It seems like the structure of the agency and the structure of your particular position doesn't give the president the option to just fire you for your laws. How do you plan to challenge it? What do you plan to do in the meantime?
That's correct. Our statute is very clear. It says that we can only be removed from office for neglect or malfeasance, as you reported. And I can say categorically there was no neglect or malfeasance. And in fact, the president did not allege anything of that sort. I got a 2-sentence email from someone at the White House who told me that I was being terminated effective immediately and thanking me for my service. So the fact that there was absolutely nothing alleged only confirms that this was totally an illegal firing. And so what we plan to do is to challenge this action in court, and there are certainly other cases of a similar nature. And we believe it's important not only to get ourselves reinstated to the positions that we hold and to fulfill our duties, but also because we think it's in the interest of the American people. I really liked how you set up the introduction, because that's exactly right. All the types of products, it affects every single American what we do. And it's for 15,000 product categories in your home, and everyone is affected by what we do. And I've been at the agency for 15 years, actually. Before I was a commissioner, I was a civil servant. I was appointed in a political position 3 years ago by President Biden. I had been the general counsel of the agency and the executive director. In my entire time at the agency, safety has always been considered nonpartisan. Sure, we've had disagreements that would reflect differences now within political parties, but by and large, mantra from everyone at the agency for as long as I've been there is that safety is nonpartisan and that we would execute our jobs that way. It was only since January where that has changed, the tenor of the agency has changed, where people were talking about their political affiliations and their election and things that I had never heard of the agency before. And I just don't think that's what the American consumer expects. Their lives are too busy, there's so much going on, they want someone just looking to make sure, as you say, products are safe and that they can go about their busy lives without worrying that their beer cooler is going to cut off their finger.
That's exactly right. There's absolutely nothing partisan about wanting to make sure that my toaster isn't going to burn down my house. Mary Boyle, who is a commissioner on the Consumer Product Safety Commission, despite President Trump's apparently illegal efforts to fire you. Commissioner Boyle, I know this is going to be, I imagine, a stressful fight and a difficult time. Thank you for helping us understand it tonight, and good luck to you.
Thank you so much.
All right, we'll be right back soon with
My world is in constant motion. The gym, the airport, the spotlight. I've learned that when I'm comfortable, I'm able to slow things down. Your dream that moves with me, stretches as I stretch, and keeps me steady through it all. So even though I'm always on the move, it's the comfort of dreaming that keeps me grounded.
Oh, dish soap is on sale. We need it?
Yeah, I think we need ketchup too.
What's in there?
Not in the fridge?
Ketchup does not go in the fridge.
Keep playing. Ha ha, ha ha.
I'm not. Wow.
Good wow or bad wow?
Insurify. At Insurify, we make it easy to cut your car insurance bill in half.
How? How?
Just go to Insurify.com and compare dozens of quotes in a few clicks. We cut out the middleman so you can cut your bill in half. We even cut out the phone calls. You can do it all online.
I just cut my bill in half.
That's Insurify. Compare prices and switch online.
Out the bill twice the... Not having to pay twice as much.
Go to Insurify.com and save up to 50% on your car insurance.
Well, you're in the big leagues now.
How was your vacation, Seth? Oh, I needed one.
With your 10% loyalty program discount, that's $225 for the night.
Not bad.
$155 for the night.
Hold up. How?
It's easy when you know what to do.
Trivago compares hotel prices from hundreds of sites, so you can save up to 40%.
Trivago's my secret tactic.
Hotel, Trivago.
Here's to generations of feelings. Unstoppable.
Hit hard on the ground. From his knees, she is safe.
I can. And I will. And I am. Here's to the next generation. Find your lead. Get in the game.
To the end zone and a touchdown. Oh, goodness.
All right, that's going to do it for me tonight. I'll see you again next Monday at 9 p.m. Eastern here on MSNBC. Before I go, a reminder that we here at The Rachel Maddow Show have a newsletter, and you can receive it if you'd like to. It's free. It just gives you all sorts of updates and info on news that you've seen here on the show. You can sign up for it using the QR code that's on your screen right now, or you can just go directly to msnbc.com/Maddow newsletter. Like I said, it's free, no strings attached. We just email it to you if you'd like to receive it, and that's it. All right, now it's time for the last word with Lawrence O'Donnell. Good evening, Lawrence.
Good evening, Rachel. And guess what costs $26,000 an hour?
$6,000 an hour. The work of 42 very expensive lawyers?
How about flights to Guantanamo? Flights to Guantanamo Bay.
Oh.
$26,000 an hour. $21 million, Senator Elizabeth Warren has made the Defense Department admit they have spent on this to get, as of tonight, right now tonight, a grand total of
to arrive shortly in the Saudi capital for the start of a 4-day Middle East visit, which notably does not include close ally Israel. In Saudi Arabia, the U.S. president will travel to Qatar and then to the United Arab Emirates. All three countries are expected to focus on new trade deals, as well as announcing substantial new investments in the U.S. economy. Saudi Arabia was the first country Donald Trump officially visited during his first term in office and planned to do so again until the death of Pope Francis and his funeral last month in Rome. And unlike his first term, this visit comes as war continues to rage in Gaza, with neither Israel nor Hamas any closer to a ceasefire, and Israel increasingly sidelined by the Trump administration on a number of key issues, especially negotiations with Iran over its nuclear program. And third hour live from Riyadh, that's where the president is expected on his first stop of his tour. Then Becky Anderson is standing by with all the details. Welcome back.
And that's right, John. President Trump due to land here in the next couple of hours. He sees the kingdom and the neighbours, Qatar and the UAE. He is offering huge opportunities for his America First policy that frankly doesn't get elsewhere. Opportunities across geopolitics, business and investment. But as one regional commentator described to me, ticks all the right boxes in terms of the US president's transactional approach to foreign policy. But from the Gulf States' perspective, and very specifically from the kingdom's perspective, it is time to secure greater privileges in their relationship with the world's most powerful nation. Writing in an op-ed for the Washington Times this morning, the Saudi ambassador to the US says, quote, "In the kingdom, we believe that a sustainable partnership begins with reciprocity. Together, we are mediators, allies, and stewards, leveraging our strengths to foster peace and security." That is what makes Mr. Trump's visit so timely. His agenda of trade, investment, energy security, and counterterrorism is in sync with our goals, she wrote. We're joined now from Doha by Adel Abdul Ghaffar, who is director of the Foreign Policy Program at the Middle East Council on Global Affairs. Good to see you. We'll be in Doha tomorrow as Donald Trump's trip continues from here to Qatar. I want to start with this idea of reciprocity. Donald Trump's made it quite clear he wants $1 trillion from the kingdom in investment. But they are signaling here that that kind of massive investment is not a blank check. They have genuine economic and security interests at the negotiating table as well at this point. So I just want you to talk us through what the kingdom is or might be looking for on this trip.
So I think, as you mentioned, Becky, the kingdom is really looking to strengthen its bilateral security cooperation with the U.S., increase its investments. President Trump is seeking, as we reported, $1 trillion. A big part of that would be also on defense equipment. Put simply, there's been a view that the U.S. has been retreated in the region, and U.S. security guarantees are no longer as ironclad as they used to be. So I think the Saudis, from their perspective, want some more ironclad security guarantees. And if you recall, in the first Trump administration, actually Saudi Arabia was attacked. Aramco facilities were attacked, and there was not a big response. So I think really the Saudis want to enhance the bilateral defense component, enhance their own defense capability, and deter Iran and non-state actors. And Becky, remember, $1 trillion can be promised. They don't have to be delivered. They can sign MOUs, but the MOUs do not have to be actualized. But this is the presidency where the optics really matter. So I think Trump wants to go back to his own constituency and highlight this $1 trillion, even though it will not fully materialize.
Yeah, and there will be some window dressing, of course, across the 3-4 days of this trip. There's no doubt about that. But there is a whole slew of U.S. executives coming into town for what is the Saudi-U.S. Investment Forum happening later today. We are expecting to hear Donald Trump's keynote speech there, as well as words from the Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman. The executives and CEOs from OpenAI, Vidya, BlackRock, Uber, and many more here. The challenge for the kingdom really at this stage is to nail more foreign direct investment into this country to power what is this hugely ambitious economic vision. So I just wonder what you believe success will look like at the end of this leg of the trip.
Well, I think success is a two-way street. As the kingdom will put in some investments in the American market, I think there should be some reciprocity, and that's why all of these executives are also in town. You know, Saudi Arabia has a very ambitious Vision 2030, that the Crown Prince has been working on. So they also want technology transfer and want long-term development, you know. And one key issue between both sides that there's not agreement on is oil prices. Oil prices are down. Of course, President Trump wants oil prices to be down, bring down inflation, the price of eggs, and so on. But actually, as oil prices go down, this will impact the kingdom's ability and budget and finance as well. So I think some sort of equilibrium also on oil prices, I assume, will be discussed between both sides.
Yeah, absolutely. The Saudi ambassador to the US, Prima Bandar Al Saud, underscoring her country's growing role in mediating on the global stage. She wrote an op-ed for the Washington Times this morning, which is well worth a read. And when she talks about mediating, of course, she's talking about not least on Russia and Ukraine, even behind the scenes on the recent Pakistan-India ceasefire, but very specifically for this region and its security going forward. We're talking US-Iran talks behind the scenes. We are seeing the foreign minister of Iran here, as well as, of course, with Steve Witkoff in Oman over the weekend. And very specifically, the Saudis looking for a long-term solution for the Israel-Palestine conflict without de-escalation around this region. These big economic visions here in the UAE and elsewhere are simply not going to work. So the entire region is obviously looking for de-escalation at this point. And these very worrying spots, very specifically Gaza, but then Lebanon, Syria, all playing on the minds of these regional leaders. Can you just explain why mediation is such a strategic pillar, very specifically for the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia?
Well, the kingdom really wants to play a bigger role on the international stage and want to host these Russia-Ukraine talks. And this is also a reflection not just on Saudi Arabia, but also on the other Gulf players, such as Qatar, Oman. Even the UAE, Trump's letter to the supreme leader in Iran came via the UAE as well. So I think the Gulf countries want to play a mediating role because we have to connect the economic visions with regional stability. There's not going to be any economic development if there's a threat of war in the background. So as you mentioned as well, the Iran talks. I think this would be critical. There's some serious will from the U.S. administration to engage with Iran in multiple rounds of talks. And I think these are going well. You know, there's been talks within the administration, pressure to strike Iran. And I think the president has sort of sidelined some of these voices and is focused on finding some sort of deal. The big difference between the first JCPOA and any potential new agreement is that actually Saudi Arabia and UAE are on board with any potential deal. So I think there's an interest from players across the board, except Israel, for some sort of resolution on the Iranian file. And within the Saudi context itself, the Saudis really want to focus on the Saudi Vision 2030 development and the transition to a post-oil economy. So the regional stability piece is important. So not just on Iran, but also on the situation in Gaza, this ongoing genocide and conflict. I think really the Saudis and want to send a signal that they want some sort of resolution and a potential pathway to a two-state solution in Palestine.
Adolf Abdul Khaffar, it's always good to have you. Thank you very much indeed for your insight and analysis. Extremely important today. John, last year the US and Saudi Arabia came very close to what would have been a landmark defense and trade pact, which includes cooperation on the civil nuclear program, which is a key pillar for this kingdom as it diversifies away from its heavy reliance on hydrocarbons. The Biden administration tied these massive bilateral trade and defense deals to Saudi normalization with Israel, and the deals stalled. The kingdom unequivocal, until they see a credible pathway to a Palestinian state, there will be no normalization. It's dead on arrival at this point. Donald Trump's team has reportedly conceded that, at least while, as one source told me, quote, there is no credible partner on the Israeli side. So expect those US-Saudi agreements on defense and trade to progress without that. And that is a really big deal. And watch this space for more on whether going forward, Israel reveals a credible partner to talk a two-state solution at this point. John?
They came so close to normalization of diplomatic relations, and yet is still so far away now after the war in Gaza. Becky, thank you. As always, good to see you. Idan Alexander, the last known living American hostage in Gaza, has been reunited with his family following his release by Hamas. This was the moment when a 19-month-long nightmare was finally over. Idan was serving in the Israeli military when he was taken hostage by Hamas during their terror attack October 7th. CNN's Jeremy Diamond has more details now, reporting in from Tel Aviv.
To Yael, Idan Alexander isn't just the last living American hostage in Gaza. He's her son. And this reunion is more than 19 months in the making. Alexander, an Israeli soldier captured by Hamas on October 7th, released unconditionally in a gesture that U.S. officials say could unlock a deal to free more hostages and deliver a ceasefire in Gaza. Before that emotional reunion, a phone call to U.S. Special Envoy Steve Witkoff's cell phone assuaging a mother's worst fears.
No. All right.
You're out. My soul, you're out, she tells him, grasping at this new reality.
They just released a photo. You look unbelievable. Wow. You look beautiful. I love it so much.
That photo of Alexander alongside a Red Cross official and masked Hamas militants gave his family the first confirmation that Idan was alive and well. In Tel Aviv's Hostage Square, hundreds joining in the family's joy, cheering at the first sight of the hostage whose name, Idan, they've all come to know.
His parents are so happy. They're so happy.
All right. Good night, y'all. I'm going to eat some ice cream and then go to bed. I will see y'all tomorrow. Good night.
This very brutal war and return all